Well, first, thanks to Natalie for the invitation to participate in this commemoration. Natalie asked me to talk about when I first met Francisco and also about when we started the journal, Phenomenology and the Cognitive Sciences, and about a paper that we co-authored. I first communicated with Francisco in 1996. He was a reviewer for a paper I had submitted to the Journal of Consciousness Studies. And after reading the paper, he decided to contact me directly. Our communication about his own paper on neurophenomenology, published that year, and my paper about the role of phenomenology in cognitive science, which came out the following year, led to Francisco and I exchanging manuscripts on another topic, the phenomenology of time consciousness. So Francisco was writing a paper which appeared under various titles as Present Time Consciousness and The Specious Present, a neurophenomenology of time consciousness. And I had just submitted a book manuscript on the topic of time consciousness. We ended up trading back and forth comments, some of which worked their way, I think, into the final versions of our manuscripts. Francisco then invited me to come to Paris to his seminar. And I remember first meeting Francisco and Natalie in a hotel lobby where they were waiting for me when I walked in, jet lagged, arriving directly from the airport. It was really so nice that they were meeting me, and I think we had dinner that evening and then the seminar the next day. And I remember, one thing I remember at the seminar was that a friend of mine, an analytic philosopher named Jose Bermudez, who was actually visiting CREA at that time, spending a year there. He had to sneak in to the seminar and sit in the back because there was some kind of political intrigue going on at CREA at that time. And some of you may know that history a little bit. In September 1999, I attended a Fetzer Institute conference on the intersubjectivity of human consciousness. And that was organized by Evan Thompson. It took place in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I believe that it was at that meeting that Francisco first talked to Natalie and me about the possibility of a new journal. Francisco had been approached by Springer, and basically they were asking him to start a new journal on any topic that he wanted. He thought that it should be something to do with phenomenology, but he also knew that he was really too busy to be the editor. So he invited Natalie and me to join the project as co-editors. We know that we continued discussing the journal at a number of different meetings or seminars that we were at. And we were trying to think up a name for the journal. I know we had some discussions about that, and we finally decided on the name Phenomenology and the Cognitive Sciences. One of those subsequent meetings was in June in 2000. Francisco and I co-organized a seminar in Paris that brought together some analytic philosophers that I knew from Cambridge, plus Joseph Parnas and Dan Zahavi from Copenhagen, Jonathan Cole from Southampton, and of course, a number of Francisco's colleagues, and in fact, some of you from Paris. We then went almost, after that meeting, we went almost immediately to the annual meeting of the Association for the Scientific Study of Consciousness, the ASSC, which took place in Brussels that year, and where Francisco did a fantastic neuroscience keynote address. And Natalie, Jonathan Cole, and I did a conference workshop on embodied cognition. I remember on another occasion, the phenomenologist, Edward Marbach, once expressing his appreciation that Francisco had arranged that he be invited to take Francisco's place at a conference because Francisco could not make it. I had that same honor at one point, although I did not actually realize that it was at the time. Just a few weeks after Brussels, I thought I was going to meet Francisco at a Gulbenkian symposium in Lisbon. But it turned out that he had actually just arranged my invitation specifically because he knew that he was unable to make it. So I didn't see him there. The last time I saw Francisco was in December 2000 at yet another seminar in Paris. I remember sitting with Francisco and Natalie in Les People, discussing the journal and some other things during a lunch break. And I remember Jean Petitot came in trying to find us, worried that, in fact, we were missing the organized lunch for the meeting. But we were all business at that point, trying to sort out editorial issues about the new journal. I told Francisco at that time that I was writing a paper drawing heavily on his work on the phenomenology of temporality. And he agreed to join me as a co-author. So in some sense, we got back close to where we had begun our discussion with respect to time consciousness. Over the next several months, we traded drafts. I think we were finished in March of that year, just a couple of months before Francisco died. That paper was published in the Canadian Journal of Philosophy. When he died, Bernard Pachot, I think it was Bernard, sent me an email to let me know. At that time, the ASSC conference was, in fact, just meeting at Duke University in the States. And I knew that Owen Flanagan was a friend. So I let Owen know, and he made an announcement at that conference. I also sent an announcement to the North American Philosophy List. And I think that must have gotten distributed across multiple academic networks, because I received so many emails in response, not just from philosophers, but from biologists and sociologists and researchers in computer science and artificial life. And they all wanted to say how much Francisco's work influenced their own research and their respective fields of study. It was a great honor to know Francisco. I felt a great friendship with him. My only regret, I think, is that it was only for those last 5 years of his life. But I continue to learn from him, from his writings, and my best memories of him are of his generous soul. Thank you for the opportunity to remember Francisco. Thank you.